You have to walk the talk. You have to be authentic as a leader. If you're not doing it, they see that.
It is entirely universal. There's other people who are going through this.
For me, a great leader needs to be able to marry three things: vision, systems, and people.
Welcome to Leadership Moments. If this is your first time, and if you are returning, thank you for your support.
This show is about leaders from all walks of life, leadership tips, and maybe even a little of what you wouldn't expect to help you in leadership.
We would appreciate it if you tell someone else about our podcast as we strive to support all leaders that want to just be better.
Let's get on with the show. Welcome back to Leadership Moments. I'm your host, Tracy Ann Palmer, and today we have a very special guest, James Shin, who is the author of The Leader's Soul, and is also founder and CEO of Blue Koi Global Partners. He has 25 years of experience leading rapid and sustainable growth across global markets. He's helped organizations unlock efficiency, drive capability, and scale with confidence. He holds a PhD in industrial engineering from Penn State, and he's built a career transforming operations, supply chains, procurement, and business models. But what I love most about James's work is his emphasis on the soul of leadership, that deeper layer beyond metrics and strategy. And his new book, The Leader's Soul, offers 52 reflections on how leaders can reconnect with purpose, with resilience, and meaning in their lives and work. So, James, with that, welcome to Leadership Moments podcast. Great to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me, Tracy Ann. I'm honored. You've got so many great, guests in the past. I enjoyed, some of the episodes, Sam Vanderbilt, Brett Engler, Garrett, Delph. So thank you so much, for inviting me here. So.
Oh, no, you're so welcome. It's so great to have you. So now your book is called The Leader's Soul. It was the one, it just grabbed my attention the minute I heard it. It's such a powerful title. Why did you choose to emphasize the soul of leadership? And what does that mean for leaders today?
So that's such an important, question. For me, leadership isn't about, getting results, only. I thought that way when I started my, career, but it's about who you are at the, core. So the soul is what keeps you, grounded when everything else, moving fast, especially in challenging times. So the soul is, foundation of, leadership, being a leader. So.
You mentioned it's who you are. How have you seen that play out in your own journey?
When I started my career, I was an engineer. I was so black and white. It was about, getting results. But it changed, over time. What I learned the most is all about, people. So people follow you because of who you are, not because of what you do. So that's something that it changed a lot over time.
Yeah, that no question, for sure. Now, your book is structured, as I said, around these 52 reflections. I really love this because it suggests that leadership lessons aren't just found in boardrooms, but in everyday life. So can you share with me just maybe, two of those reflections in the book that have been most transformative for you personally?
Yeah, so I love that question. So, 52 reflections. So everyone is, different. So it's like in a library. So you can pick one based on the situation you're facing, now. However, the one I would have picked it's called the greatest, gift. It's about my daughter. We got our, daughter in our, later, lives. So she's, precious, but having her taught me a lot along the way. Being patient, and also she spells, love, Time. So I think that again that made me a better person. she made me a better leader along the way as well. So that's the one I would pick as the top choice. Second one is tough, but if I pick one, I would pick the one called the power of small actions. It's about boy throwing the starfish into the ocean. So small actions collectively, as a leader, you got to do that. Leadership is not just about big actions, right? So it's a small actions every day, impacting the people, impacting other things along the way. So I would pick those two.
Yeah, that's excellent. And then, what reflection do you personally return to when you want to reset as a leader?
That's a great question. I think it depends. So if it is a complete, reset, and I would go with start with purpose. So trying to think about why again, and then I think that resets what I have to do from then on. But if it is a small reset, tweak, I would go with the discipline of continuous improvement. So I try to compare where I am to where I want to be, and then make small steps to get there. So again, depending on the situation, I would pick one of those two.
Yeah, that's really good. That's excellent. Now, you write about growth often comes from setbacks and mistakes and vulnerability. And by the way, I believe that. I really believe that. That's a real tough truth for many leaders, though. Can you share a time when, failure or vulnerability uh, ultimately made you stronger?
So there are quite a few along the way. But I'll pick one probably a long time ago. That's when I had a major leadership role. We were in a very challenging situation from the profit perspective. So a lot of pushes coming from the top. We had daily meetings at 7 a.m. But in the end, I included my people into that situation. Meaning, so I was honest with my team. Hey, this is a situation. It's very challenging. So we worked together, brainstormed, and being honest and being vulnerable. Eventually, we found some creative solutions to get through the situation from my team's perspective. So you shouldn't carry the situation alone. You got to work within others. So that's the one big thing I learned. It's all about people in the end. So
Yeah, for sure. Now, in the book, I really love this. We talk about sort of this power of pause, this power of reflection. You emphasize the importance of pausing, of reflection, of intentionality. Yet many leaders are moving so fast that they can barely catch their breath every day, right? What practices do you recommend for leaders to sort of slow down, reconnect with that inner compass?
we have to be intentional about the building in small pauses along the way. We have to be intentional. So one thing I do is disconnecting from all electronic devices. Small pauses, daily, but also at the end of the day, and I completely off cell phones and obviously like iPhones and laptops before I go to bed. So that will help you reflect on a lot of things. But also, I try to walk without cell phone. And actually, walking is a really good method to think about different things. So as you walk, you will think about a lot of things, and that will give you time to pause and think about what you gotta do. For example. But also do whatever you like. Me, cooking is one. Drawing is another one. When I'm stressed out, I draw. Pencil drawing. So it really helps. So it will reset your perspective and make things better. without that, it can be, worse and worse. So
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because I know one of the things that I had noticed was, you have these personal passions, right? Cooking and music. You do the drawing, you do the photography. And I was thinking to myself, well, those are all actually very creative, right?
right, right,
You're an industrial engineer, okay? You have a PhD, and these are all
right,
very creative things. So
right.
that fascinated me because your sort of stress reliever and that escape is sort of going and doing creative things. And I had a question for you around that. Do you think that creativity is sort of a missing piece in many of the leadership toolkits today?
I think so. So the creativity and along with curiosity, I think makes leadership, better. The reason is, when I cook, when I take pictures, when I draw, you pay attention to something you don't normally, pay attention to, and then you connect the dots. So that practice actually in real life in leadership, role, you do the same thing. You pay attention to people, and you can pay attention to other things and connect the dots. So creativity, and then also you gotta be curious, right? So curiosity helps as well. So combination of those two will help leadership as well. So
If there's a leader that's listening right now and sort of feels stuck, right? Because I think many leaders go through these moments of feeling, I know where I'm going, I'm on the right path. And then they have sort of these little setbacks and they get stuck. Maybe they feel like their career's not moving in the right direction, or maybe they're questioning whether they're even in the right career. Maybe the team is stagnant. Maybe, the operations has got really messy, or they've just lost sort of sight of purpose. What's the first step you would tell them to sort of reconnect with their leadership soul?
I would start with a purpose. So what's your purpose? What's your why? And it can be personal thing. It can be business, but everything when you get stuck, I would start with purpose and why. So it's kind of an ignition switch. So once you think about it, and then you'll be clear on what to do. So I would always go back to the purpose and why. So that's kind of I guess solution for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. And if you could put one reflection from your book into the hands of every CEO, which one would it be and why?
I would go with the one leading beyond yourself. I talk about the developing future leaders and people. So being a CEO, so you're the one actually taking care of the whole organization. So it is not about one quarter. It is not about 2 quarters. It's a long run game in a sense. So it comes down to future generation and future leaders. So you gotta think about how to develop those people, and then the rest will come together, in my view. And also my daughter and her generation, if everything goes as it is, it's gonna be tough, right? So I hope that her generation is all about human. So leadership is about the human element. So I would go with that chapter. So
Yeah. And James, I think about this book that you've written. I mean, clearly it's something that was very important to you, right? Uh, what made you write the book?
so and I came from South Korea, and it was a big change. And then I went through challenging times as a leader. And I thought that it wasn't about me, and I like to have opportunity to share what I went through with young generation, young people. So that's one purpose I wrote in a book. And the second thing is, you know as I mentioned before, the biggest thing I learned was about people. So, and if you look at, 52, reflections, there's always, people element. So I like to send that, message to other people as well. So when you get stuck or when you are, challenged, think about who you got around you and then reach out to them, being honest, being vulnerable. So those are the reasons that I wrote the book. So.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, that's really good. And what's your leadership legacy? I mean, what impact do you most want to leave behind?
So I thought about, quite a bit along the way. 100 years and 200 years, from now, nobody will remember me. But I want to be remembered that I was, someone not necessarily helped, organizations, grow, but I helped, people, grow. So people who, came across, my path, they got influenced, by me. They encouraged to, lead, people. So I want to be remembered by the, fact that I focused on, people. I helped, people. So
Yeah. And if you could leave one piece of advice for our audience, what would that be?
think about, people around you, and reach out to them, but also be curious. So those are the two things. Actually, it's not one, it's two, but that's what I would say.
That's fantastic. Thank you, James. So, James, Shin, really love the book. I've personally read it. Thank you so much for sending it to me. So it's been a great read. Thank you for reminding us all today that leadership is not only about growth, but it's about grounding. It's about people. It's about the team. It's not just about strategy, but it is about our soul.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tracy, and then thank you for the, thoughtful, questions. I really enjoyed, time. Hopefully, audience, enjoyed, session with us. So,
Yeah,
thank you.
excellent. Yeah, and we'll send all the information about James so you can reach out to him, and certainly take a look at the book on Amazon. We'll give you the link. So this has been Leadership Moments. I'm Tracy Ann Palmer. Until next time, keep leading with courage, with clarity, and with heart. Or as James Shin would say, soul. If you enjoyed the show, please go to leadershipmomentspodcast.com to subscribe to the podcast or on your favorite player, as well as follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn.
You can also send us a message on what you like and don't like, or what guest you want us to have on the show.
So until next time,
This is Stacey Castor, and what doesn't challenge you won't change you.
and I'm Tracy Ann Palmer. Be the change you wish to see in the world.